welcome to the Ridge Outdoors. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different than I'm normally going to do on this channel. Normally it's going to be mostly bushcraft and camping, self-reliance, being prepared and making bug out bags. But because of all the current situations nowadays with all the quarantines and the coronavirus, I'm going to do a video on gun store etiquette. I feel like a lot of people are going out and making a knee-jerk reaction and buying firearms. A lot of people that have never possibly touched a weapon or have never gone to a store and bought one. So these are going to be some tips and tricks to go to the store with a little bit of knowledge and make a good purchase and hopefully not get kicked out of the store for flagging people with a weapon. So I've been a firearm instructor for about 10 years, so I've seen about everything. So hopefully I'll give you some good advice in this video. If you haven't already, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, like this video, and if you have any comments or feedback, make sure you put it down in the comment section. So the first thing you really need to be aware of before you even go to a gun store or pawn shop, anywhere that sells guns, is a couple simple but basic weapon safety rules. So the golden rule of weapon safety is treat all weapons as if they're loaded. If you do this, all the steps I'm about to say are going to just make sense. This isn't common sense to everybody. Not everybody grew up around weapons or has even touched one before. So these are going to be pretty basic, but they'll keep you out of trouble at a gun store. So the next rule is going to be keep your finger off the trigger. All these weapons in front of me have been cleared out already, but the first thing a lot of new people around guns want to do is as soon as they grab that thing, they want to put their finger on the trigger, and that's just a bad habit to get into. So always keep your finger indexed on the side of the receiver or next to the trigger. So it looks something like that. As soon as you want to start putting your finger on the trigger, you just need to resist that urge. So always keep your finger indexed, and you're going to keep a lot of people happy. The next thing is going to be your muzzle discipline, especially with a smaller pistol. Every couple of degrees of angle you move it, it's not much right here, but across here I'm flagging my whole room just by going about 15 degrees of movement. So that's something really to be aware of. Just imagine either like a laser or a rod sticking out of the barrel at the gun store, and if it would flag somebody, then that's possibly aiming a weapon or pointing a loaded weapon at somebody. Now any reputable gun store is going to clear it out and show you that it's cleared out. A lot of them will even have a trigger lock on the trigger, but not all of them do. So always try to clear out the weapon yourself. If you've never handled that weapon before or you don't know anything about it, definitely ask the clerk and they should be able to help you out. Any reputable gun store, anywhere that sells guns, should be able to clear out any weapon that they have there, or at least should. So along with muzzle discipline, make sure you don't joke and just with the weapon. So if you go in there and you start kind of waving it around, that's going to make them nervous, and don't joke around. Don't joke around about killing somebody. They have the full right to refuse service and not to sell you a weapon. Especially if you start joking around and stuff like that, they really shouldn't. They shouldn't sell you a weapon. Another thing I would do before you even head to the store is do some research. Know a little bit what you're looking for. Whether you're looking for a concealed pistol, something like this 380 is tiny and you can throw it in your pocket. This is another concealable weapon, but it's a little bit bigger. This one's a 9mm, or if you want to go something a little bit bigger like a revolver, depending on what you like. Or if you're looking for a shotgun, a rifle, AR-15, just do a little bit of research on it before you go to the store, and it's going to save you a little bit of heartache, having to learn at the store as you're trying to buy something. If you have friends that have weapons, take a look at theirs, ask their opinion on different weapons that you would be possibly looking for. The internet's a great tool. You can find a lot of reviews on stuff, and if it has problems with that model of weapon, if you have no clue anything about weapons, try to find one of your family or friends that knows a little something and ask their opinion about weapons, what they would recommend for you. If you have a really small frame and small hands, you don't want to go buy a Desert Eagle. And if you have giant hands, you probably don't want to buy something like this 380. I have bigger hands and I like it for the most part, but it is really, really small. So do that research, have a little knowledge before you go in. a good gun store should be able to tell you about any weapon there and show you the basics. So if you don't do any research, that's fine, but it will definitely help you in the long run. Another thing you definitely want to ask before you start doing things is if you want to test the trigger squeeze, especially if it doesn't have a trigger lock on it, make sure you ask that clerk if you can test the trigger squeeze and a safe direction to aim, because you do want to look down the sights as well to see if you like them. So ask where a safe place to point is. They should, point out an area, and then you can aim wherever they tell you to and squeeze that trigger. Get a feel for it, but definitely ask. You're just going to start making people nervous if you're not asking things like that. So always ask the questions, and anything with a slide, if you don't know how to lock it back to the rear, they should be able to show you how to do it. So most pistols are going to have a slide catch or slide release. You want to press up on that, pull back, and it should lock into place. So you shouldn't fear guns, but you should have a healthy respect for them. It is something that can take someone's life or your own life, so have a healthy respect for it. You don't want to be playing around with something. Always treat it as if it's loaded, and you're not going to run into problems. The first thing, if you hear on the news when a husband's cleaning his gun and he accidentally shoots through the wall and hits his dog or wife, always his first go-to is, well, I didn't know it was loaded. Well, if you were treating it as if it was loaded, that wouldn't have happened, and you should be unloading your weapons and checking it multiple times anyway. So thanks for watching. This was just a basic video on kind of the starting fundamentals of going to a gun store and knowing a little bit what you're looking for and some of the rules you should abide by. If you've never touched a weapon before and you have any other questions, make sure you just ask those questions in the comments. I'll do my best to get back with you. And if you have handled firearms before and you're really familiar with them, put a comment in there, anything I missed or anything you would like to add to it. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, once again, think about hitting that subscribe button, thumbs up this video, and leave those comments. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.